Hi there, it's day 13 of your reset. It's Saturday, and just in case you've found this video on YouTube and you don't know what I'm talking about, please click the link in the video notes below. That will take you to the page on my website which explains everything about this 31-day detox and reset program that follows the primal health model, the paleo diet, the ancestral health model, and I really recommend that you do it because the results that you'll see and feel within less than a month can be quite remarkable. So today we're kind of moving on from carbohydrates into the topic of inflammation, and what you'll start to appreciate now is how it's all an interplay. It's actually really difficult to talk about. It's sort of quite difficult to separate metabolism from inflammation, from stress, because it's all happening all together. And that's why the program is so powerful, because we address all of these issues all at the same time. So yes, today we're looking at the intestine. The intestine, we say, is like 80% of the immune system. Never underestimate the importance of a healthy intestine. The problem is that when the lining of the intestine is damaged, the things that should stay out of our system get in, and the consequences aren't pretty. Okay, so that's a little drawing that I did to sort of show you what a leaky gut looks like, what's happening there. Okay, so be smart. Leaky gut, or the hyperpermeable intestine. The intestine plays the most important role in the immune system. It's there to protect you, right? Every substance that enters the body is subject to the selection process that occurs in the intestine. The epithelial cells that line the walls of the intestine distinguish between substances that are good for the body and those that are harmful, right? So obviously the good ones are allowed to enter and the bad ones are rejected and are expelled with the feces. So what's good are the micro and the macronutrients that the body metabolizes for energy, for balancing our hormones, for stress management, and etc. Right? And what's bad, obviously, are the bacteria and the viruses and the toxins and the things we can't digest. Now, just beyond the lining of the gut, an army of immune cells are ready to attack and destroy any dangerous substance that happens to get inside. Now, the immune cells have two defense mechanisms. First is that they create acute and localized inflammation that stops the onslaught of the invaders and creates the conditions for healing. And the second strategy that they have is that they produce antibodies that identify and destroy the bad substances. Okay? Now, working together. Oops, hang on, oh no, it's better. Here we go, I hit the wrong button there. Working together, hang on, working together, a healthy gut and the immune cells are a very strong team of bodyguards, right? And so this is why we say that 80% of the immune system is localized in the gut. The problem, right, is that the epithelial cell layer, with its quality of selective permeability, is a very fine and very delicate sieve. The thickness of this layer is only one cell, which means that it's not invincible. If that layer of epithelial cells is constantly aggravated by certain foods and pharmaceuticals, these cells and their junctures can become damaged. And substances and situations that damage the intestinal lining include the proteins that are known as prolamins that are found in all cereals and grains, medicines such as NSAIDs and antacids, infections, as well as conditions such as SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and candida. And of course, in addition, lifestyle factors such as inadequate sleep and inadequate sunlight and chronic stress all contribute to the weakening of the intestinal barrier. Now, the subheading here, when fecal matter enters the bloodstream, this is essentially what we're talking about. When the intestinal lining is damaged, it creates a situation of intestinal hyperpermeability, and this is not a good thing, right? Because it means that the substances which are dangerous to our health enter the body, right? This is the stuff that should be expelled, right? So in essence, we're talking about fecal matter which is entering the bloodstream. Yeah, not nice to think about it in this way. The immune system responds immediately. Immune cells go into overdrive to fight them. Now, the problem is that if there's too much to do, day after day, year after year, they may ultimately fail to win the battle. When our immune system becomes overloaded and fatigued, it loses its efficiency. It can't protect you from common ailments such as colds and flus and cuts and grazes and insect bites and the things your dog brings in from outside. And it may start making mistakes. Immune cells can lose the ability to distinguish between good proteins and bad proteins. And this confused state may reveal itself, for example, as seasonal allergies and food intolerances, whereby, for example, the immune system thinks that flower pollen or peanut protein are serious health issues. Right? So if the immune system is constantly switched on, its techniques of acute and localized inflammation, which were once protective, may develop into chronic systemic inflammation. And many professionals in the field, many if not most now, are suggesting that chronic systemic inflammation underlies all modern disease. So autoimmune disease in the hyperpermeable intestine, if the immune cells become very confused and lose the ability to distinguish between invading proteins and proteins from our own body, it's possible that they'll start producing autoantibodies. This is what was happening to me. Autoantibodies attack and destroy the cells in your own body. And if these autoantibodies go haywire, an autoimmune disease could develop. Immune system confusion can show up anywhere, right? In the organs, in the glands, in the digestive system, in the tissues, in the nervous system. The where determines the type of disease, right? If it develops into autoimmune disease, right? So autoantibodies that attack the joints lead to rheumatoid arthritis. Those that attack the thyroid gland lead to Hashimoto's, yeah? Autoantibodies that attack our connective tissues lead to connective tissue disease. That's where I was heading. Autoantibodies that attack the skin cells lead to psoriasis. Those that attack the hair follicles lead to alopecia areata. Those that attack the nerves lead to multiple sclerosis, etc., and so on, right? There are around 80 autoimmune diseases identified, all of which are quite unpleasant, to say the least. Okay, so we don't want that. We want to avoid that. Molecular mimicry, there's this situation, there's this phenomena known as molecular mimicry and cross-reactivity, phenomenon, plural. Molecular mimicry and cross-reactivity. In these cases, proteins that are very similar to those of our body enter the system through the leaky gut and or are mistakenly incorporated into our cells with dire consequences. Haven't written that very well. Yeah, in these cases, proteins that are very similar to those of our body enter the system and are mistakenly incorporated into our cells. For this reason, people who are allergic or intolerant to gluten, for example, may suffer from the same symptoms after eating gluten-free substances, right, such as millet or rye or barley. So we need to be aware of that as well. The signs and symptoms of a leaky gut. Yeah, leaky gut may reveal itself in many ways. Digestive problems that you consider normal. Yeah, gas and constipation and diarrhea and bloating and various discomforts. Any problem that has inflammation as its main cause, such as but not limited to allergies and intolerances and bronchitis and obesity and hypertension and joint pain and eczema and tendonitis. And if you do have autoimmune disease, symptoms may include those of your own disease, such as, but not limited to, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, and scleroderma. And so, you can see here that, we're talking, about the importance of healing the damaged gut and following a diet and lifestyle that promotes the health of the gut. Okay. A damaged intestine can heal, but it takes time. My gut feeling, excuse the pun, but my gut feeling is that it took me about 2 years, of following the recommendations here, because it was around 2 years when my inflammation levels reduced right down and my blood tests showed negative for autoimmunity. And so, yes, as I just said, the paleo diet, the ancestral health model, is all about gut health. It activates an intense healing process. It removes all aggravating food from the diet and adds super nutritious foods that are known to be particularly healing for the gut, such as bone broth and collagen. Yeah, and that takes us into the section on eat, bone broth, which we love. We're passionate about bone broth for collagen and for the healing. So it's such an exceptional superfood that everyone needs a fast and furious way of preparing it at home. My recipe here doesn't contain onions or garlic because they're high in FODMAPs, which we'll look at in a little while. Further on, we'll look at the FODMAPs. And so that's my recipe there, which you can take a look at. And do read through that. And if you're not already consuming bone broth on a regular basis, then highly, highly recommended. And that's sort of it for today. It's Saturday today, so if you have the opportunity to get out and do, a really nice, beautiful long trek in the mountains or in the hills, take advantage of that. And if not, just do, a round of the prems or a little bit of yoga or just something to sort of move and stay healthy. And beautiful motivation exercise here. Who are the people who have added value to your life? That's a really nice one. Really nice one. Write down 20 people who have contributed positively to your life. So do spend a bit of time, 5 minutes or so, just write in your journal, stay connected to the process, trust in the process, get in touch with me if you need to. I'm here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.